Good morning, Dr. Gan and my fellow friend. Today I want to present about inflation. These are contents about introduction. Inflation is a major problem for countries involved in the free market as well as country. This problem of inflation has been going on since the 19th century until the present. The inflation situation after the 1970s became increasingly complicated to contain as it has a worsening impact. In the 1980s, the influence of inflation on a country's economy became even greater. However, in the early 1990s, the economy began to definition of inflation. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the term derived from the Latin inflate to blow up or inflate. Inflation is defined as continuous or orderly increase in price. Somerset 1995. There are three types of inflation. Firstly, creeping inflation is a low rate of inflation. In a year, the rate of increase in the price of goods does not exceed 2% to 3%. Secondly, galloping inflation is a medium level of inflation. The price increase in very large in a relatively short time. The rate of price rise increase from tens to hundreds of percent. Thirdly, hyperinflation is a high level of inflation. Within a year, the monthly increase in the price of goods reached 50%. It affects as the price of goods rise by 6 or 7 times. Factors of inflation. Inflation from a demand consists of two aspects. Firstly is over demand. Inflation will occur if demand increase but product or service do not increase in proportion to the increase in demand. The result in an increase in price as a result of the public reaction to increasing their spending because they were concerned that there would be a price increase. Goods will run out of the market. Excess money supply. Inflation will also happen if the market has an excess of money supply. As a result, the price of goods rise. The increase in government spending in excess of tax collection has forced the government to borrow money from banks. Next factors of inflation is production of goods, which consists of two aspects too. Firstly, time is soaring. When the market is soaring, the demand for raw material increase. It causes the price of goods made from all these raw material to increase massively. Cost increase, productivity decrease. Workers' productivity may be reduced, but their wage remain the same. Or workers may refuse to work if their salaries are not increased. To maintain the same profit as before, entrepreneurs had to raise the price of their product, resulting in inflation. Theories of inflation. Keynes theory. Keynes stated that if the amount of money in circulation increase, then the price also increase. Rising demand for money has also raised interest rate. Consumers become a function of real concept income by anticipating the rate of investment plus government produces. The actual production rate does not depend on the price rate. The actual expense amount is applied to each possible corresponding income level, C plus I plus T. Classical theory. Amount of money in circulation M is determined by the government policies. The transaction velocity of money is a variable velocity and the amount of money out expected to be independent. Change in the velocity of money production do not affect the amount of money in circulation. Financial theory. In terms of demand, anything that moves the aggregate demand curve to the right causes price to rise. The factors are change in production such as an increase in investment I, government production G, and financial change such as an increase in the amount of money out. In terms of supply, anything that increases the cost of production will move to short-term aggregate supply curve to the left and cause price to rise. The factors are the increase in the price of the factors of production as well as the cost of production. Expectation theory. When the government increase the money supply from T1 to T, the aggregate demand shift from AD0 to AD1. Fixed prices are not expected at T0, but the price rate is expected to move upward, similar to the increase in money stock. The aggregate supply curve shift from AS0 to AS1. The original price level is at P1, so an increase in stock money does not affect output but affect price increase. There are two ways to overcome inflation. Firstly, fiscal policy. Adjustment in taxation of and government spending are referred to as fiscal policy. The impact of an increase in tax will vary depending on the type of tax. Raising taxes is anti-inflationary. Secondly, built-in fiscal policy. An appropriate set of monetary and fiscal policies to combat inflation must include automatic fiscal policy. Next, financial restriction by the Federal Reserve that would be implemented immediately. Lastly, deliberate fiscal policy by Congress just if inflation was severe, prolonged, and persistent. In conclusion, inflation is a continuous increase in price over a period of time. The impact of inflation is comprehensive, regardless of the financial position of individual. We must avoid inflation from occurs because it will cause a very bad effect on the well-being of human life. That's all from me. Thank you.